Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Spoiled. I'm Enosh.
I'm Tiffany.
And we are bringing you a spoilerific movie review. What movie are we going to talk about this week, dear?
This movie, it was The Visit by M. Night Shyamalan.
Ooh, the Shyamalama Ding Dong guy is back, and he's better than ever. That's right, with jump scares and cool stuff for you. Actually, you know, I am a Shyamalan fan, actually. I don't give the guy such
hard time as everybody else does.
You know, the only Shyamalan movie that I really didn't care for was The Happening.
I actually don't think I've seen that one.
You haven't seen The Happening?
Nope, but I liked Lady in the Water. I liked The Village. I liked all of the ones that he's done so far.
Unbreakable, Sixth Sense.
Definitely.
I mean, at one point, M. Night Shyamalan was like the guy. You know, and he always had the twist ending you didn't see coming, and he put a string of great movies together that people just absolutely loved, but then he kind of hit a wall, and people just kind of found his movies predictable. I remember sitting in The Village, and halfway through The Village, I turned to the person next to me, and I said, "It's not the 1800s! I bet you this movie is set in modern times," and the person looked at me and goes, "Oh, you're stupid, shut up." And as soon as it happened, it took every ounce of me not to lose it on him there in the theater. But you know, one movie that was actually people are calling this M. Night's comeback movie. That this is he directed this one, he wrote this one as well. And they're saying everybody's pretty much been giving this movie some pretty good reviews. And,
first one he hasn't appeared in, though.
Yeah, he wasn't actually in this movie. Usually he kind of does a little cameo and everything.
We try to predict where he might be.
That was another great. Yeah, there was another great movie was Signs.
Yes.
Signs was a great movie.
There's a monster outside my bedroom. Can I have a glass of water?
But the thing is, I think that this is his actual second good movie in a row. I know he didn't direct it, but he actually wrote and helped produce the movie Devil.
Which is another one of our favorites.
Which is one of my favorite movies. And what I really liked about Devil was the fact that it is honestly, and it's hilarious and probably kind of ironic to say this.
And people don't believe us when we say it.
I know, and I try to tell people, look, you should see Devil. And they're like, I'm not going to watch a movie called Devil.
The Devil.
The Devil. But it's a great movie about redemption and about forgiveness. And, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen those two concepts portrayed as well as in the movie Devil.
Undertones.
So anyways, we went into seeing The Visit tonight. We just got back from seeing it not too long ago. And if you haven't seen the previews, it's basically about a couple of kids who are going to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
For a visit.
That's
the name.
And they're going to spend a week with Grandma and Grandpa. It's the first time they've ever met their grandparents. I will say this, because that was kind of spoilery. If you haven't been able to tell from the name of the show, Spoiled, we are going to talk about the movie. So if you haven't seen...
and don't want to know what's going on in, around, or at the end of...
yes, then you probably need to go out and watch The Visit, and then come back here to this video
and see if you agree or disagree with us.
Exactly, and leave a comment and all that. So jumping right in. So the two children have never met their grandparents before. Their mother had a falling out years and years ago with her mom and dad, and there was this whole story about she was going to run off with an older man. They didn't like that idea. And then something happened. She doesn't tell them exactly what happened, but there was this moment of something that happened the day she left that
she just pretty much says if Grandma and Grandpa want to tell you, they'll tell you, but it's up to them.
Yeah. Now, I was kind of surprised because I didn't catch this from any of the trailers or anything, was that this movie is kind of set with that whole, not the found footage idea of something happened. A lot of scary movies lately have been using this found footage thing ever since Paranormal
from the camera version.
So ever since Paranormal Activity came out, everybody
probably figured it works. Let's keep running with it.
Yeah, we just
Literally.
saw the Gallows last month, and that movie used
Same concept,
That,
same thing. Everyone had a camera in their face. And
Chronicle.
Easier to do the jump scares when you're turning around and someone jumps in the scene.
And there's been some good movies in that genre. I mean, I really liked Chronicle. I guess really, you know, I the movie that kicked all that off was the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Was really.
Doing that.
But
I'm so scared.
so this movie, I did not get that from any of the trailers.
No,
That
they
this
kind of
movie
jumped back and forth a little bit.
It's kind of unique that way because the young girl is filming a documentary
For her mom.
about her mom and the relationship that she had with her parents, and it's all kind of first person shooter thing. But it's weird because it
With a little bit of splices of like normal sedentary pictures and like sunsets and
yeah, it's weird that way because most of the movie is shot as the daughter or the son shooting it.
You said the son in this movie was from, I can never remember all the words in the same order.
Really bad, terrible
No
day.
good day or
no
whatever.
good day or whatever. Which ironically, I just saw this kid for the first time in that movie like 2 weeks ago. My son and I watched that movie on demand, and so I recognized the kid. He's kind of funny. He's got a little bit of a lisp to him, but his character was great in his movie. He's a little white kid. And
Wants to be a rapper.
And he's freestyling, and I would have loved, having filmed things and shot things myself, I would have loved to have been on set
Oh yeah.
when he's doing these freestyle, you know, things and stuff, and
How many things were actually in the movie and what things happened?
Oh,
probably
yeah.
After we got to put that in.
the stuff on the cutting room floor must have been gold. So look
Whole
for that
nother
on the
movie.
DVD maybe, or the Blu-ray. So they go off to Grandma's house. Mom is met a new guy, and the kids really like him, and so they send them off to on a cruise.
Ironically, it was on the Royal Caribbean, the Allure of the Seas, the same ship we went on for our honeymoon, so we were geeking out just a little bit, going, we were right there where they are and where they're taping.
We've seen that boat in several movies now,
Yes.
and every time we see it, we go, "Hey, we were right there."
That was our honeymoon.
Yeah. So they go off to Grandma's and Grandpa's, and it starts off just kind of normal, and
Like Grandma being funny, why are you wearing your pants so low? Well, I'm a rapper, Grandma. I mean, you know, funny little cute things.
yeah, and Grandma likes to bake, and you know, and
Teaching the daughter how to cook certain recipes and
yeah, and so
Till it
the
gets
whole
weird.
time now, the kids they talk to their mom like via Skype from the boat, and Mom never sees Grandma and Grandpa because they had this falling out. They've never spoken, and this is kind of the first contact
through the kids first. And
first.
daughter's doing this video almost in a way to try to have the family make amends, maybe thinking if we get through this together, maybe we can reconnect with Mom as well.
Yeah, and
Get past the
so
hurt.
so Grandpa puts the kids to bed the first night. It's been kind of just a normal day, and he tells them, you know, we're really old, so we go to bed at 9:30 around here, and you probably don't want to come out of the room.
And you're
after
thinking,
9:30.
okay, they're just old farts.
So then just a bunch of craziness ensues, and we would be here all night if we were going to tell you
Yeah.
all the stuff that happens. But over
You
the
can
course
enjoy
of
that in
this,
the theater yourself.
yeah, this is a funny movie. What I loved about it was funny, but it was scary at the right
With a little bit of emotion at the right parts, but then at the end, Shyamalan does his twist where all of a sudden you're watching and like, what?
It had a twist. Yes, it had a twist in it, and I liked the twist.
Yes.
And I did not
see
see
it.
the twist coming. I can honestly say, you know, that was kind of... I think maybe that was one of the things that played out about Shyamalan's movies for a while, was because every movie that came out, it had a twist, and people were trying to figure out the twist. I honestly went into this movie not even thinking there would be a twist, because I was thinking, you know, it's been so long since he's done one of those kind of deals.
He seemed like he tried a little bit of paranormal-esque. They tried to do one scene where they're like, oh, let's leave a camera and see why they're being weird. And
oh, man.
things ensued and made you pee your pants almost. But
Yeah,
you could see he's kind of learned a little bit through the genres and the first-person camera, the leaving the video camera. A couple little throwbacks there, but everything else, you know, was very much his own thing.
And I've read some articles too about the fact that this is a movie, you know, when he was making these big movies, when he got really popular, you know, he had all this budget and all this stuff to work with, and that this movie was, you know, it was a smaller budget. He kind of got to go back to his directing roots
Yep.
and trying to make things happen.
And maybe that's why he didn't star in it. I was even thinking that, he's going to be this person. It might be this person.
Oh, yeah, we
And then
were-
like,
we
wow,
were-
he never showed up.
we were talking about places where he could have showed up as a different person in the movie, and he never did. But it was quirky when it needed to be quirky. It was funny when it needed to be funny.
And creepy when it needed to be
And
creepy.
it was creepy when it needed to be creepy. And we're not going to give away the twist. I know we talk about spoilers here, but we're not going to give away the twist.
It's too much of a
here.
spoiler. It would ruin the
it's-
actual movie.
Yeah, it's just too much of a twist.
We want you to be in the theater and go, oh,
Yeah.
no.
So if you see the movie and you know the twist, hey, comment in the comment section about what you thought of the twist and how they used that and how they did that. It's just as I remember, as soon as it happened, I just went, oh,
And your heart
man.
starts beating.
And especially as a parent,
Yes.
for what happens,
I think that's what scared me even
to
more.
know your kids are in that situation and there's nothing you can do about it. I can't imagine what that would feel like. It's there's some funny moments. There's some gross out moments. The son plays.
Kind of a germaphobe.
Yeah, he's kind of a germaphobe. And one thing I will say, at the end, they find out that Grandpa has to use Depends undergarments.
Continence.
Yeah,
pants.
and they kind of established that early on in the movie. And then when Grandma and Grandpa kind of turn
And go nuts.
and kind of go nuts in the evil thing, at the end, Grandpa pulls his Depends off. And it's just a classic moment because he just looks at this kid and he says, "You got a problem with germs, don't you?" Right in the face. Right in the face. And but it's funny because, you know, like they keep trying to.
You're laughing and grossed out at the same time, so you can't complain.
Exactly, and the kids keep trying to explain away what the grandparents
They're
are
old.
doing.
This is just what they do.
They're just old.
What did they call the syndrome? Like, she actually looked it up online and it actually existed.
The grandpa said that she had
Sundowners or something.
not Down syndrome. Sundowning syndrome
Look
or
it up.
whatever.
You can Google it.
Yeah, look it up. And so she does that and stuff. But it's funny because there's this one scene that they wake up and Grandma is running to the house like this.
But then you got to do the crawl that you get from the movie The Grudge, where you're like on all fours,
With her
through
arms behind her
ring,
back.
and then her hair's in her face. I'm gonna get you.
But she's got her arms behind her back, and then it's funny because then the next day, and they like watch this, and they're trying to explain it, thinking,
Like, what the
Grandma's
heck?
just got some issues. But then the next day, the
And
kid,
it only happens at night.
yeah. Then
at
the
first.
next day, though, they're taking a hike, and the boy looks at his sister and he goes, "Hey, who am I?" And he puts his hands behind his
Goes
back,
off
and
the
he does
scene.
exactly what I just did. So it was funny. It was scary when it needed to be scary.
We've watched enough scary movies that when there's certain things that happen now, Enosh and I like grab each other's hand, like, okay, it's coming. We know it's coming.
And you know, one little subtle thing that I did like what he did, like, you never really knew what was going to happen,
Yeah.
how this thing was going to end.
It constantly made you think, oh, maybe it's this. No, maybe
Because,
it's
you
this.
know, because Shyamalan has done a few different genres. I mean, he did an alien movie.
Yeah.
Okay. He's done the supernatural thriller type of movie.
Yeah.
And
The Mystic, like Lady in the Water. he's
yeah,
done where
and the funny
everyone
thing
worked
is
together
like
and-
at a couple points, like the grandparents are saying things like at one point the grandpa talks about like a ghostly figure that he has seen, and you're wondering, well, is there going to be a supernatural
White thing with
aspect?
yellow eyes.
You know, is there going to be a supernatural aspect to this
Yeah.
movie? And then another point, the grandma starts telling this story about aliens, and you're like, is that going to be the thing that's weird to
Maybe
hear
that's
that
the
there's
water she needed to drink of.
yeah,
for
you know,
signs.
it's just weird. But then with the ending, I thought the ending was great. And then what I loved about this movie is much like Devil, this movie had a great.
Comes back around.
It comes back around, and when it ends, it has such a good moral
Yeah.
to it at the end of what they learn, and that moral is if Grandpa takes off his Depends, run.
And cover your face. No, and just like you
no.
learned in self-defense class.
No, Grandpa, do not take your Depends off around me. So
I didn't realize it was Depends at first, so I was like,
yeah, Grandpa goes up behind the counter and takes it off, and like all you see him is kind of taking his pants
You
down.
hear
and
the
you're
belt
going,
and the pants, and like, Grandpa?
What's Grandpa doing back there? But yeah,
We're
just
close family.
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. You get a depend in the face. Something's afoot. Anyways, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a great return for M. Night Shyamalan and Shyamalan. What I called him?
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. I called him Shyamalan, is what I called him. Anyways, you know that guy. Anyways, like I said, I really like his movies. I didn't really care for The Happening just because it was kind of weird because basically all the plants were giving off this pheromone trying to kill off humans.
Oh, you did actually show me parts of that movie.
And Mark Wahlberg, and it was just, I don't know,
and that kid, and it was like calf zombie stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to create suspense when all you have is the wind blowing through the trees. And
oh no, run!
You're like, oh no, run from the wind and the trees. That just that lost me. But I like she said, I loved Lady in the Water.
Yep.
I thought it was a really good movie. I loved Unbreakable. I loved Devil. I loved Sixth Sense. You know, yeah, some of those movies. I love The Village. Some of those movies don't have a high probably rewatchability because of the twist.
But I'm glad I've seen it, and because I
actually own most of those movies, so
yeah,
probably I think every one of them except for The Sixth Sense.
And I own that one.
Do you own The Sixth Sense? Well, there you go. See, I've been married to her 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. Did not know that she had The Sixth Sense. So,
but it was one of those things that when we walked out of the theater, I was telling Enosh, it didn't scare me like Paranormal, like where you're thinking and thinking and thinking, like, oh, the next day you're like, this is why this happened, or maybe this is why. It didn't scare me to where you were like, what happened? Because there was a definitive enough ending to explain some of it to where but it's still creepy. I mean, I walked out going, that grandma is creepy.
And grandma shows her butt.
Yes,
in
twice.
this movie a lot. Yes. First you get half cheek.
Then you get full on whole cheek
and
a little bit of side boob.
Whole cheek going on there. So if you're into grandma booty,
this is the one for you.
Yes. So I guess that's pretty much all we got to say about the movie. It was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. We're not going to reveal the ending, but
we do call this show spoiled for spoilers. But this is such a big spoiler at the end; it would literally ruin the movie, and we're not going to do that.
So we don't want to do that. But like we said, if you go see the movie, or if you've seen the movie, please leave a comment. We'd love to hear your ideas on the movie and what you thought of it, and do you think that this is M. Night's return? Do you think that he's returned to form, and that this could be the start of something good, to see good movies of him? I like what somebody else said I heard this week about him.
Or if he'll do a second one ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good director, and I think he's had some really good movies, and I heard somebody else say this week from Collider that I would like to see him do well again. You see somebody who does well, and they kind of go off a little bit. You want to see them get back to form and do well. So M. Night, we're pulling for you, man. We like this one. So Tiffany, out of 1 through 5, what would you get? Would you spoil this movie and give it something good
for a fee?
Ooh. For a shamalama ding ding dong. Yes.
I would actually probably give it about an 8, but that's not...
Out of 5? I said 1 through 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 1 through 5.
She said it's an 8. It's 3 better than the best. Go see this movie. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't realize you said 5. I would give it then about a 3.5, 4, but that's including the scare factor, the twist at the end, the comedy, just the whole package. I believe it was pretty good up there. Yeah. It wasn't like the super scary, like, it wasn't, Paranormal or Saw or Jeepers Creepers. It was like
it was just really
scary enough.
It was just a fun movie to go to on a Friday night. So I think out of 5, I would probably give it a 4. Right around a 4. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it was a good time, and I was glad that we went to see it. So
and would highly recommend it.
There you go. So she gives it a 4. I give it a 4. See.
There you go. It's the 8.
It's the 8. Yeah! So, if Grandma and Grandpa invite you over, don't do it. And if Grandpa pulls out his Depends, run for your life. All right? Yeah. So, that is spoiled for this time until we go see another movie and want to talk about it. So, like I said, subscribe down there. Leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Let us know what you think. And we will see you next time.
Yes.
Unspoiled.
Unspoiled.
Bye-bye.